So the whole driving in the car with the camera set up on the dash setup it really works for me because I can just get to where I need to go and just log the thoughts and post them, or pull over in a parking lot and knock out a quick like video. Earlier I had some, I know this is a shocker, but I had some more thoughts on barking. I did record them in a parking lot, and then later I deleted it on accident. So I'm gonna try to remember kind of what I was on about, and then wrap up some thoughts on barking. So as far as when you respond to your dog when they bark, um, we're gonna set aside the context of dogs on leash in public. So like leash reactivity, leash frustration, hyperarousal, stuff like that. We're gonna just set that aside, and we're gonna focus on household barking. There's also like a different criteria with like distress barking. So like if you're struggling with confinement training, or like, you know, putting your dog in a crate or leaving your dog alone, and your dog is experiencing um, I'm sorry, isolation distress. I'm not going to cut it here. Sometimes I have a brain fart. Isolation distress. There's a line between isolation distress and separation anxiety. Separation anxiety is a condition that a veterinarian has to diagnose, maybe even a veterinary behaviorist. Isolation distress is like a step down. And so we'll look at that a little bit later, but we're also going to set that aside because it's not like there's going to be a lot of conditioning and legwork involved with that. We're talking about once again, I have on my mind the unwanted alert barking. So we talked in the last video about unwanted alert barking, and then some demand barking, aka attention-seeking barking. So we're gonna kind of address those areas right now. When you respond to your dog, getting back to the original thought, when you respond to your dog when they're barking, if you say quiet, you say their name, you say quiet, they bark. You say their name, they bark. You say shut up, they bark. What you're doing is you're reinforcing their barking unintentionally, because it may provide you with some fleeting relief to tell your dog to shut up. Um, but in the performing arts field, they refer to this as call and response. So when you hear trainers or like people in the field say, "Oh, now we're just both barking," or "Now we're just all barking," that's what they're talking about. Like your dog barks, you tell them to be quiet, they keep on barking. You're fueling this behavior by responding, and that behavior is going to increase in frequency because of the consequences that you're providing. So we were talking about being a little strategic with our feedback as it pertains to barking in the last video. But also you can quite possibly damage your relationship with your dog by yelling at them. The cues that you're wanting to use can become white noise, as we've talked about before. So their meaning, it holds less meaning, and your dog is much less responsive to them. And then with the alert barking, there's also an unintended fallout where if you're yelling at your dog in response to them barking at like something outside that they're perceiving as a threat, then you can quite possibly sharpen the edge of that reactivity. Like you can exacerbate or worsen the association they have with that thing outside because you are in turn punishing and reprimanding them. So like what we're trying to do most of the time is say, "Hey, look at that thing good, that thing treat," not like, "Oh, don't you dare bark at that thing, like, you know, now you're in trouble." And the dog like will associate those feelings and those consequences with that thing appearing. So it's going to make that even worse, or it can. But as far as what you need to do, like management is always going to be like the first step. Management is like 98% of the game here. So if you leave your front door open, but the storm door, if you leave your front door open, the storm door is closed, and then your dog can see out with everything going by, or if they can prop themselves up on the couch and then look out the window, then that's going to be, those things are going to be an invitation to barking at stimuli going by. So what you want to do is like if you're not prepared to work on things with your dog, then you're going to want to put that management piece in place. Like a lot of people work from home these days. So like suffice to say, you should be making time to work with your dog, I guess, whether you work from home or not. But a lot of us, like when we're just lounging around and we want to like relax and kind of check out for a little bit, we're not prepared to teach our dog, like, you know, that thing good, that thing treat. So if you are gonna, like, you can use window clings, you can use like frost, you can frost your windows, drapes and curtains and stuff like that. If you shut those, there's a lot of dogs I know that will just absolutely wreck curtains if you close them, if they know something's behind it. But that's the first thing that you need to do, especially when you're not, like when you're not prepared to work on it and you don't have the mental bandwidth and you don't have the energy, then that's what you need to do. When you do have it, then you need to set something up so you can plan and anticipate. So, running out of battery here as we ramble. The normal stuff. Sometimes I struggle to find him on online, but I think his name is Dr. Chris Peschel. He has four criteria. Four criteria for a successful formula for counter conditioning. So like when you, so we're talking about barking at things, like when they clock stimuli, when they clock a stimulus and they feel like they need to bark at it, you're gonna try to, once again, make them feel like not only is that thing not negatively impactful to you, it's to your benefit that it exists and it's moving and it's getting closer, or whatever the situation is. So those four criteria are: number one, identify the stimulus. Number two, avoid the stimulus unless you're doing a controlled exposure. Number three, conduct a controlled exposure. Number four, reinforce and repeat. So again, if you're not prepared to conduct a controlled exposure, then you're going to be leaning on those management pieces and mitigation and preventing the behavior from happening. Because once it's already happening, like your dog's already doing the unwanted behavior, you're just doing damage control at that point, which like is going to happen. You're going to need to, like, interrupting something like is as good as far as it goes. So like you can say leave it when your dog's barking at something for sure, but like you know, you can make like a noise that is mildly jarring, but like it doesn't cause your dog to shrink and get small and cower and hide and stuff like that. So that's a little bit of an overcorrection, but basically, like, as far as conditioning the dog to understand, once again, that like, you know, that thing doesn't bear barking at, is going to be a long game of like a pattern of clearly reinforced behavior of calm, quiet, composed, just looking at something, looking at it and looking away. So that's a longer video than I originally had made, but and no rain this time, pounding down on the windshield, but we do have dogs mucking about in the back. But this kind of behavior here, I don't deem it necessary to interrupt. So nothing good shake off. Nothing they've done so far has me like needing to take my attention away from the video that I'm making right now. So thank you for watching.